Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Pisces. So Pisces, as usual, I'm doing a reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So Pisces, your reading today has a lot of major arcana, including the bottom of the deck, which is the sun. So let me show you. Oh my god, the sun and justice. But the thing about the major arcana today for you in your message, it has such a big, potent energy that it becomes very soft and very smooth. And it's something that it's almost like, I don't even know how to express this, but it's like, it's so big that you become as big as those energies. So it's not something that is daunting or something that is overwhelming. It's actually something that becomes part of who you are. And I feel like there is this incredible process of integration that is happening with your own inner child, to be honest. And it's something that came up also in the Aquarius reading yesterday, and it was talking about how briefly Aquarius needed to reconnect, right, in this brief moment before they took on this very important role, this position of authority, but they needed to reconvene with their inner child. And I feel like it's almost like your reading today, Pisces, is zooming in that aspect that was coming through for Aquarius in just two cards. It was just a very it was a crucial moment for them, but it's almost like they had to, it's like the message for them had to develop and go in another direction in terms of them, you know, stepping onto that role. For you, it's like you have time, or you have, perhaps what you have to do right now is to zoom in to that moment of getting together with your inner child, because we're beginning our reading today with the Page of Cups, and this card to me is the card that represents a child, right? So while all the pages have some sort of very innocent energy to them, but specifically this one being this Page of Cups, right, the one that talks about the emotional vulnerability, the innocence that comes from the purity of the heart, right? So this is you, but this is you as your child self, as your younger self. And by young, I mean, you know, it's not like, you know, last year or a few years. It's like, you know, your early years, right? It's like that very young, naive, innocent, pure, spontaneous, free from any type of dogma or any type of belief, right? It's like that very innocent child. So it's like, the, you know, early ages. I'm thinking about, like, you know, 2 or 3 years of age, right? So it's like this very, very, like the first memory that you have when you were a child, right? That's how I'm sensing this card today for you. And I feel like with this card coming next, with the Hangman here, the way that I saw this was like you're trying to fish this. It's almost like you're trying to fish an old memory, right? It's almost like there's something from, you know, your early years back in your childhood that you're trying to fish back. It's like you're trying to reclaim that memory, right? This is how I'm seeing this rope here. It's like this it's almost like this not the fishing rod, but the hook, right? I was trying to think about that name, but it's like this hook, right? That it's going to rescue, in a sense, that part of you that it's like it's been a long time since you thought about yourself that early on. You see what I mean? It's like, or maybe ever, right? Maybe you've never thought about yourself so young, right? It's like those very, very first memories that you have as a very young child, right? Even as a baby, but I'm getting like 2 or 3 years old. and trying to fish back that memory. It's almost like, okay, so the interesting thing about this hangman here for you is that at first I thought that this was you waiting so long to finally now go back to that very early memory. But actually, I feel like there's something about this inner child of yours. They have been waiting for you to rescue them, or they have been sitting there just waiting for you to come to them, right? Or reclaim their innocence. Because the Empress card here, so another major arcana, right? And this is the central card. And it's interesting because actually it came reversed, but I turned it upright and it felt good to be upright, because it's almost like I feel the waiting game, like the suspension mode that I typically see with the hangman. It's because it was like this. It's almost like it's like things were tipped upside down for you, right? Either you didn't see your own value, or you didn't realize like how much you have that is worth a lot, right? It's like maybe you didn't know how worthy you are since an early age. It's almost like your inner child have been waiting for you to reconvene with them so that you can see your value. The way that I'm seeing this Empress, sometimes I see the this crown in a sense, or this wreath, as, you know, two beautiful wings open wide, right? Ready to fly, ready to take off. And I feel like because it was upside down, it's like there's something that you weren't taking that flight, right? You weren't taking that leap, and, you know, in reclamation of this early memory of this inner child of yours. But since now this is something that is becoming your focus, or the guidance is that it should be something that you're now trying to fish again, that memory, right? It's like you'll realize that this younger version of yourself, this childlike version of yourself, this inner child, has been waiting for you to rescue them, has been waiting for you to fly back to them, right? The way that I'm seeing this, it's like, you know, a very tiny bird, right? A baby bird that, you know, mama bird has been, you know, out and about doing its thing around the world, and, you know, trying to get some food, and, you know, doing anything, you know, far off from the nest where this inner child is, right? Waiting for her to return. And it's like, this is when, especially because of this card, the Three of, I was going to say the Three of Cups, but the Three of Wands is the card that talks about something that is coming from the horizon in your direction, right? So it's, in a sense, a manifestation, for instance, that could be finally coming in. But really, I'm not sensing this as a manifestation per se. I'm really seeing this as you, as your current self, now loving yourself, right? The Empress sometimes talks about self-love, but it's like you knowing your worth, knowing your value, and you coming back to, maybe we're talking about, you know, a wounded inner child that, you know, needs rescue in a sense, right? They have been waiting to be rescued. But I'm not seeing, it's like, it's not a sense of vulnerability to the point that, you know, they need help. It's almost like they are safe, they are okay, right? It's not like it's like, you know, there's going to come an eagle and swoop them, you know, off the nest. I don't feel that kind of danger here. It's almost like they have been waiting, and they have been safe in the nest, waiting for, you know, you, and, you know, to the point of, you know, recognizing your own self-worth, are able to come back, right? Are able to reconvene, to go back to the nest where you can meet again this earlier version of yourself, right? It's like, remember that early memory of like that very cheeky, spontaneous, very free spirit when you were 2 or 3 years old, right? And that it's almost like they have been waiting for you to go there, to meet them, to play with them. It's like they have been waiting to have a playmate, right? But you know, mama bird, or you, your mature version or your grown-up version, you know, has been out and about, maybe building your empire, right? Building your own stability, your own security. But it's like now it's time for you to reconvene with this child, right? This inner child, so that this inner child of yours knows that you see them. It's like the moment that they see you coming back to the nest is like, that's when you see them and they see you, right? It's like this reciprocal type of exchange. And from then on, the bottom row, right, the 3 cards that are ending here, this part, are all major arcana. And they're actually all painting one picture, which is so gorgeous, because it's, again, it's like that flow. It's like the moment, you know, it's interesting because I feel like it has to do with when the eyes meet, right? For some reason, the 3 of Wands is wanting to emphasize the eyes meeting, right? So it could be like, you know, this meditation where you go inward and you meet with your inner child, and for some reason you didn't know that they were waiting for you all along. It's like, since you have been, you know, moving on and growing up and doing everything, you know, to find a good life, right? The way that I'm seeing this Empress, it's like, there's nothing wrong with the life that you have built. It's not about something that you didn't know that you were, maybe you were working a lot, right? To have a good life, to be able to sustain a good life for you. But there's also something, because of that, you know, transition, about this Empress being upside down, and then I'm, you know, turning it upright and feeling better, right? It's almost like you have created, you know, also because the 3s to me are all about co-creation, right? It's like you have been co-creating a good life for yourself, but it's almost like maybe you have forgotten about this inner child of yours, and now is the moment that you feel even better with the life that you have created, because of this reintegration, because of this reclamation of the inner child that has been waiting for you, right? And this, so the Magician, the Moon, and the World, there's so much in this that it's almost like I just want to sink into this energy and allow it to flow, right? The way that I'm sensing all of this, because what this Magician and the Moon are together conveying is moon magic, right? And moon magic, how the moon, and we are in this very important, crucial week, right? Or like moment of the year of this new moon in Aries. And actually today, the 23rd of March 2023, we have Pluto entering Aquarius, which is, you know, one of the biggest aspects or astrological aspects of the year, or even like a lifetime, right? Because we have never seen or felt or understood the effects of Pluto entering Aquarius, right? So it's almost like the bigness of it, it's actually so difficult to grasp. It's the same thing here. It's something so potent that affects the whole planet, just like the moon affects the waters, the oceans, the tides all over the planet. So it's almost like, Pisces, you were the one, you know, being the last sign of the zodiac, you were the one able to transcend, right? You were the one able to zoom out. And it's interesting because I started this reading talking about how your reading and your reconnection with the inner child is like zooming in one aspect that showed up in yesterday's reading for Aquarius. And it's like now with these 3 cards, you know, closing this part of the reading, it's like you're able to zoom out again, but zoom out from the perspective of taking this one with you, right? It's like you're not leaving them on the nest. It's almost like maybe they're going to be part of the co-creation that comes next, right? It's like what you have co-created so far, it's actually so potent, right? It's like what you have manifested for yourself, maybe using your own intuition, it's interesting, it's coming through as using your grace, right? So maybe we're talking about your power of, persuasion, right? It's like this very delicate, feminine, persuasive type of manifestation abilities, right? Intuitive abilities to shape your world in a very beautiful manner, right? You have created a very beautiful life so far, I want to say, with all of the potent energies, and I want to say also very feminine energies, with all that you can, right? It's like, how do I express this? It's like, I don't feel like you were holding back when your goal was to create the best life that you could for yourself. The fact that it was upside down, it's only perhaps, it's talking actually about grounding, right? It's like wanting to ground the energy, maybe, planting your roots or settling down in one specific place. But because, when I turned upright, it's almost like I felt this freedom, and it's like this integration with something, it's almost like it has this feeling of going back home, but actually it's not going back home to a place, but rather going back home to your younger self, your inner child, right? It's like reconvening with that very free part, with that very innocent and spontaneous part of yourself. It's like zooming, it's like that. It's like an exercise of zooming in and then zooming out, right? Because when you go back, when you fly back to the nest, right? And this one sees you coming from the horizon towards them, and you see them. It's like both of you have this very beautiful reconnection that it's almost like they are proud of the things that you have accomplished, but they're also so happy to see you coming back to them. You see what I mean? So there is a lot here that is touching your personal life, but it's also something bigger, right? Because of this capacity to zoom out, and it's like expand your vision, expand your way of perceiving how it's like a very simple thing, right? A very simple, it's like a trip inwards, right? It's like this journey into yourself, into your memories, reconvening with this one. It's like it's going to allow you to see things from a bigger perspective, from this more expansive vision, understanding that how you have created or how you have shaped your own world, it's actually the beauty, the grace, right, that now is going to touch many. It's like this moon magic is going to manifest so much beauty for many, I want to say, right? So it's like, so perhaps this is happening, all around the world with many people, in the collective, this inner journey that is very specifically wanting to reclaim this innocence, reclaim this inner child, but then zoom out. It's like going out again into the open, but co-creating with those two energies connected, right? Because I feel like this is what this moon magic is just becoming a lot more potent. It's like it's spreading, right? The way that I'm seeing this is like the more you zoom out, the more you see how this is spreading and how you are now taking this travel buddy with you, right? Which is, this inner child that maybe they are now ready to go with you. It's like they don't need to be there in the nest waiting for you to, establish a good life for yourself. It's like now you have settled, into a really, really good life, maybe a very abundant, prosperous life, and now you can take them with you, right? It's like you don't have to let them there, right? And forget about them, at least temporarily. It's like you can take them with you. It's almost like, again, if I was seeing this mama bird here with the wings of the Empress, you know, the moon card has a lot of this motherly energy, right? Has a lot to do with motherhood and this feminine energy of, you know, being receptive and being welcoming, right? So I feel like you're embracing this moon magic because you are diving in deep, right? Fishing that memory back from when you were very, very young. And then when you are going back out into the world, it's like not only you are realizing how beautiful you have created your own world, it's like how it's just so graceful. It's coming through as graceful, almost as if like now you can just enjoy. It's like you can flow freely. You can play, right? They wanted to play with you. Now you can play. And I feel like it's going to be fun. It's going to feel balanced, right? With the bottom of the deck being the Sun and the Justice. It's almost like I feel like maybe you have been waiting to feel this balanced or this free or this happy, right? Maybe you didn't even realize that you were, it's like that you were worthy of such happiness, like the bigness of these feelings, right? The feeling of integration with the world at large, or perhaps, you know, feeling like you're part of a bigger collective also brings this sense of integration, right? Not only with your inner child, but also with humanity at large, or the whole planet, right? It's like the nature, right? Nature or the planet or the waters of the planet, right? Flowing like the tides of the ocean, right? It's like flowing with your manifestation, right? As if it was also like flowing with the tides, right? It's almost like, you know, that there are moments, you know, that the tide is going to be high and then it's going to be low, but there is no suffering, right? It's not a matter of, you know, high highs or low lows. It's not a matter of that. It's almost like a fluctuation of your emotions, but an ability to shape that, right? And flow with it. And it's like there is no frustration or deception, or it's just like a real true blessing to feel this graceful, right? To feel this beautiful, right? So it's like, it's big, it's really big, but it's also very, it's not overwhelming at all. It's very fluid. So what a gorgeous energy, Pisces. I am going to pull more cards for you, as well as the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.